Yo, Counter Attack podcast with myself, Daps. Guys, keep liking, subscribing, sharing, all of that good stuff. Today's the day where I release 2 podcasts. I don't know, depending on what time of day this one comes out. I don't know if you're, depending on what time of day this one comes out. I don't know if you would have seen the interview already or there's a player, because there's a player one, I don't know. But yeah, you get 2 podcasts today. You get the main one, the long one, and then you get this little short form where I just kind of wrap up the weekend's fixtures. So yeah, guys, if you haven't seen it already, check out my interview with Wolves defender Dexter Lembekisa, young boy, who's currently just gone on loan to Hearts as of 2 days ago, or maybe yesterday, I don't know. Just gone on loan to Hearts, so check that out if you haven't seen it. Really, really good interview, really, really good talk. I told you we're back, player interviews, we're back. And I'm also just going to make sure that you guys also get to hear about what's been happening in the Premier League as well. So, where do we start? Not everyone played this weekend. We had quite a few, it was a weird one. It was just only a couple games to go. I'm going to start off with the match that was on today because that's fresh in my mind. Obviously, Tottenham versus Manchester United. It was an interesting game. I think that when I saw Wan-Bissaka left back and Diallo right back, where normally, they have no problem putting putting him left back and putting Wan-Bissaka in his normal position right back. I felt that was an interesting one. I don't know what the thinking behind it was. I don't know if they felt like whoever was playing on the other side was, Wan-Bissaka was more suited to dealing with them, so Brennan Johnson. But yeah, I felt like that was an interesting one. Tottenham were obviously missing a couple of players. Sarr, Basuma, Maddison are the notable ones. Son and Kulusevski, that's 5 players from their first team that they're missing. I think those were the main players that they are missing. And they still looked good. They still looked, much, much better than, I reckon they look much better than United, especially in that second half. I think United got the early goal, which was good for them. I think that United, you know what? Let me give United some praise. United did some good things. I think after about 20, 25 minutes in that game, though, Tottenham kind of controlled it. And me personally, I felt like United were kind of lucky to go in, 2-1 up. And Rashford finally got his goal. I don't know what all that was about because you're doing the celebration, Rashford, but, I don't know if you're sick and tired or you feel like that's your way of saying, where's all the talkers now? But, when your form's been like it's been, I don't know. I just don't feel like that goal was enough to shut up the critics. They're still going to be onto you, especially if you don't back it up next game. So I don't know what all that was about. But fair play to him. He got his goal. Højlund, very good goal. In terms of the finish, 100%, I'm having that. And like I said, they just didn't build on from that. I think Tottenham, once they come into it, let me tell you this now, yeah. In fact, no, I'm gonna come back to that. I think when Tottenham did come into it, they looked like they remind me of. In fact, and I need you to stick with me. In fact, let me say this in a certain way where you guys will understand. Not understand, but you guys won't get onto me for how I was going to say it. I was going to say they remind me of like Man City. They remind me of Man City and Barcelona. 1 second. I was going to say they remind me of Man City and Barcelona. But what I meant is that no matter who comes in, they play the same way. And Tottenham, they still play with a high intensity, high line. It helps now that they got Van der Ven back, with his speed. And it's just hard to deal with them when they do it and they do it correctly. And I know they were missing a couple players, but I think that we cannot forget just how good Bentancur is. I think when we talk about Tottenham this season, obviously Bentancur's been missing for large parts of the season and he's just coming back. But when we talk about Tottenham and we talk about their best midfielders, outside of Maddison, I honestly believe Bentancur is their best midfielder for me. And some might say, well, I was going to say he might be their most important, but, that's debatable. But 100%, Bentancur's better than Basuma. Bentancur's better than Sarr. And yes, them two were missing. But to have Bentancur in that team, like I said, I reckon he's their best midfielder, bar Maddison, is a massive boost. And I think today, he controlled that game. And some might say, oh, he didn't. But if you watch that game, Bentancur controlled that midfield. And he obviously had the help of Højbjerg and Skip. And Højbjerg is no slouch. Do you know what I'm saying? But I feel like Bentancur come back, and remember, he's still coming back to fitness. And I feel like once Bentancur's back up and running, back fit, listen, that Tottenham midfield of Bissouma, Bentancur, Sarr, however you want to play it, and Maddison obviously to come in, is problematic. And, you know, it was no surprise that they come out of that second half and just got their early goal and controlled the game after that. It was no surprise at all. I feel like United, as much as that 2-2 draw, I feel like they'll be happy with that draw. No team really did enough to win that game. I think if McTominay scores that chance at the end and United win, that would be a smash and grab from United, 100%, because they didn't deserve to win that game. Tottenham controlled it. United, again, you know, it's a draw. And when you consider, it depends how you look at it. You can look at it and be like, United have drawn 2-2, and considering the form that they've been in this season, that's a good result and it gives them something to build on. Or you can look at it and just be like, that performance just wasn't good enough. It depends. It's all about perspectives. And if they now go and lose their next game, which is, you know, when you look at United, could very well happen. It'll all just be for nothing. And again, it's just another result that papers over the cracks. But yeah, on the balance of things, 2-2 was probably fair. If anyone did shade it, it would be Tottenham. But yeah, it's a fair result. Speaking of United, obviously Jadon Sancho, quick shout out to him. He's gone over to Germany, got an assist straight away. It's funny because I've seen the talk around Jadon Sancho being, he's gone back to Germany and that's his level and whatnot. But you can only do what you could do, like, against who you're playing. Do you get what I'm saying? And fair play to him. He got an assist, an easy assist for him, even though it's two very different levels, I know. But all you can do is just big him up. Because if he goes there and he does absolutely rubbish, you'll be saying you can't even hack German League. So let's hope he gets minutes again. Let's hope he gets playing how we know Jadon Sancho could get playing again. And it'll be interesting to see if there's ever a way back for him. If he was to play out of his skin at Dortmund in this loan spell, it'll be interesting to see what United do with him. So what I didn't like was I saw Ten Hag in an interview for Sky Sports, and they were talking about if there was a way back from him or whatever. And Ten Hag was talking about, we had problems, you know, initially with him, and just writing man off and just talking about him in that way. But then you obviously see Ralph saying he didn't have a single problem with him. So yeah, it's just an interesting take. But what I do want to talk about is the man came back. The main man himself, KDB. Listen, you see Kevin De Bruyne, yeah? I find it so funny when people say that he's a bottler because he bottled in finals, and or they just talk down on him and call him a fraud and all of these mad things that they speak on him. I mean, they're not saying anything now because obviously he came on and won the game for Man City. But generally speaking, if he has one bad game, they'll get back to calling him that. And I find it so mad that you can have a player with that much quality who so many people, I say so many people, but quite a few people like talk down on him. I think when you're looking at KDB coming on with this mad hairstyle, he's got a bit of timber, you know, needs to lose a bit of weight. He's telling you he's only got 20, 25 minutes in me at the most. When you see him coming on and you're seeing him, you know, score what is a normal goal for him, that is trademark Kevin De Bruyne, just passing it in the back of the net. And then you're seeing that pass, that assist for Bob. When you're seeing things like that, you can't help but feel the collective sigh, like, Man City are going to wrap this one up again, aren't they? Because it's so funny seeing that happen. My group chat, all the Liverpool fans who have been talking the maddest about winning the league and stuff like that, people on Twitter, on social media that I've been seeing who have been talking crazy about winning it and that City ain't all that, all of a sudden they were all like, yeah, City are going to come back and do what they normally do, aren't they? Just because of KDB. And they still got Haaland to come back. And they're going to be a problem. And also, I do want to shout out to Bob. Nice little cameo, got his goal. He took it well. took it well. But if I had KDB giving me those passes all day long, I'd hope to get in those positions as well. But he's shown flashes since he's come. I think we need to not get too far ahead of ourselves with Bob. I feel like it's okay to say he's done well in the time we've seen him. What I don't want is for people to put that pressure on him now and start labeling him this and labeling him as that, because, like I said, he's done well with with the chances he's got. But have we seen enough to be like he's next up? He's some sort of wonder kid? I don't think so. I think if you're a competent player and you can follow instructions and you've got a bit about you and you play in that Man City team, you train that Man City, you're gonna look good, I reckon. So fair play to him. Let's hope he kicks on from it. Who else played? Chelsea. Let me see who Chelsea played because I've forgotten already. Chelsea played. Fulham. Yes, it was before I even got there. Chelsea, Fulham, man. I don't know, man. Chelsea are a funny team. I feel like the fact that they spent so much money and they still need a striker is mad to me. But then I look at their team and I'm saying to myself, Chelsea bought a bunch of hot prospects. The thing with hot prospects is that that's all they are. They're just hot prospects. They haven't realised their potential. You still got to wait for them to start playing at a level where their potential gets realised. And they've got a team of that. And you're not going to win games consistently with that. And you see it when they play. Caicedo, really good player with a lot of potential. Madueke, potential. Which other one? Gusto, Colwill. Like all of these players, and they've got no real leaders in that team, no real players with know-how. Bar Thiago Silva and maybe Sterling. Who do they look to in that team? Gallagher himself is a player that needs guidance and needs leadership, but yeah, he's the one leading the people. And I think that's what's playing out with Chelsea right now. At any given time, they could lose a game, they can win a game. They just look real passive right now. They look like a bunch of youngsters who have come together and just trying to make it work. I'm liking Cole Palmer though. And away from his goals, because I know people are going to talk about his goal contribution. Away from his goals, his overall contribution is just really good. I think when he gets the ball, he's always a threat. He's got that elusiveness about him, and he's got that flair and arrogance that you like to see in players. And for someone so young to command, the respect of the team, to command the he's not a leader, but what's the word I'm looking for? Authority in the team and trust of the team. It just goes to show just how good he is and how good he can be. I do think Man City made a mistake letting him go, but who am I to say anything about Man City? I think that he probably will go on, and it's just, I wonder if he's gonna be a shout for the Euros. Honestly, I really wonder if he's gonna be a shout for the Euros, because it should be. He's playing well enough, but I think he might just miss out. Because it depends on who's fit and who's not. Do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, Villa Everton, I won't really talk about that, except it was just a brawl. That's it. Just bare fighting, just tough match, tough tackling and stuff like that. So I'm not really going to say too much about that. Except Tarkowski. Listen, you see Tarkowski, yeah? He'll win the ball, but he follows through and will clean you out. I think if he's not careful, and I don't wish this on anyone, but if he's not careful, Tarkowski is the sort of player that will break a man's leg. Do you know what I'm saying? Because some of the tackles I see him do, like I said, he wins the ball, but it's the follow through that he does every single time. And he might say, I won the ball, but he knows exactly what he's doing with them tackles, and they can be dangerous. He's lucky that a lot of the time people see them coming, so they kind of get out of the way. There was one in the first half against Diaby. Or was that second half? I think it was second half. The one against Diaby was mad. And even against Moreno, he got the ball clean. But if Moreno didn't jump out the way like he did and see it coming, that could have ended badly. So them tackles, man, they need to allow it, man. They need to stop them tackles. What else? African Cup of Nations has started. Listen, all I'm going to say is that these smaller teams in the African Cup of Nations, they're really trying to do bits. They're really trying to come out and beat these bigger teams. Normally, Nigeria, who played Guinea, Ghana played... Who did Ghana play? Cape Verde, and they lost. Nigeria drew, and they shouldn't really be drawing that game. Egypt drew 2-2. Like, these smaller teams are really giving the big boys, problems. And, someone from Armchair Gaffers who I was speaking to, I forgot who it was, so, was saying that they're getting better coaches now. And that might be a massive part. But also what I see is that a lot of these teams with the bigger players, it's almost like they don't fancy it. These players coming with their Premier League money, playing on nice pitches, they're playing against people that won't hesitate to collect a bone from your leg. Do you get what I'm saying? Some of the tackles I'm seeing, you just see them say, "Nah, I don't want it. I don't want it." So Nigeria need to fix up. Obviously, I'm Nigerian. They need to fix up. Hopefully, the draw, it's not the end of the world, but hopefully that's as bad as it gets, and they kick on. Ghana, oh gosh, losing to Cape Verde, and you could look at that game and say Cape Verde actually deserved to win that game. And yeah, there's just, Chris Hughton's got a big job to get the boys back together, because there's going to be much tougher games than that. So big them up always. So that's it from me, guys. Like, subscribe, share. Let me know in the comments what you think. And yeah, we are out.